one and all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble interviewer, Jordan Brown, and with me for the very first time is our entertaining MC. Say hi, entertaining MC.
Hi, entertaining MC.
Rekha, thank you so much for joining me. This is so exciting. Long-awaited interview.
Yes.
So exciting. I have a really important question for you right off the bat.
Tell me.
Is Yoshi with a juicy ass the height of comedy?
Listen, I think that shit is so funny, obviously. I really, if I'm in a bad mood, that stuff really makes me laugh because I think it is so interesting and funny that people use such a technical skill on stuff that is so insane. So yes, I think it is the height of comedy for me.
That's truly so fantastic. It's one of those ones where it's you. I know a couple of people who do this where like it'll be like a bunch of pictures and you're like, what I've been up to lately? And you're swiping through and all of a sudden just like Yoshi with a dump truck.
Yeah.
It's a delight to me every time.
Thank you so much. And I find it a delight that I haven't had to reuse a picture. There's just a lot of stuff out there. And like, again, it's just like people are doing 3D art on things that they don't need to be doing it on. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, good for them. It's good to have a hobby.
Yes.
We are in the midst of Ratfish, obviously part 1 out,
So
part 2
sick.
coming Monday.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. I would love to get your thoughts on being so targeted by Brennan and Bug with a fat ass.
Yeah.
I think my favorite meme that's come out of it was everyone, including Rekha, is that Rekha for Bug with a fat ass.
I was so flattered to have somebody like I'm not someone who I get many people, I guess, believe this about themselves. Like, I don't feel like I have like some sort of strong brand or something. And I've always kind of wished I did. And so when someone can kind of see you and reflect to you a thing that you do like, and they like that he knows, I was like, wow, that's so nice. I truly wish I had thought of that character. So it felt really nice to be seen and to be like, wow. I don't care that Brennan's saying my sense of humor is an infatuation with the stupidest things on earth. I'm like, because that's not an insult to me. I'm like, it is. That is my humor. So I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brennan meant it as an insult.
No.
Brennan just in like master strategy mode.
Yes.
Everyone else was like, I'm going to throw everyone off who I could be. And Brennan was like, I'm going to make everyone think I'm one person.
And it was honestly obviously an advantage to me because it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe he was also maybe banking on like, maybe Rekha's not here today. So that would be an advantage if you're picking someone who's not even there. So for me, it was just great to throw people off the set.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to hear, like, we'll talk character creation about, like, more characters with more depth, I suppose you could say, but let's talk about side table walnut.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you trying to talk about characters with depth with me? I don't do that. Yeah, what do you want to know about the table?
Where did the table come from? It's truly so fantastic that you like come up with a bigger than life character and you're like, got it, inanimate object.
I really don't know what it is. I think there's something psychologically in my brain that like doesn't honor anything I think as like interesting or unique to me or something, because in my mind I was like, everyone's probably gonna pick something like this. And that was the first idea I had when Sam was like, pick a larger than life character. Is like, I mean, would it be okay to be a table or some, like in my mind it's like, did somebody already pick that? And I genuinely do. When I watched what other people chose, I was like, this is where I'm like, am I okay? I'm like, oh, people chose like archetypes of people, like a Hollywood agent or like a Indiana Jones. It would never have occurred to me. In my mind, everyone's choosing something like a table.
Choosing tables and bugs with big asses.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Which is why obviously I love the bug so much. I was like, yeah, this is what I thought we were all doing.
Someone else gets it.
Yes, someone understood it.
I do love that the prompt was like, make a larger than life character, and two people just like, what if I made an asshole man?
Yes.
Just like, that's my character. It's
Which
just
is
a bad
so
guy.
fun, so fun to play, I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah, I got to talk to Katie a bit. I've talked to Katie and to Jess already,
Oh,
which
awesome.
I have scheduled the worst possible time for interviews with the three of you, because I'm like, all right, let's talk about a show that you can't reveal the finale for.
No, perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, perfect timing for me.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, Katie's getting a billboard somehow, whether that is from someone winning and giving her the prize, or she bought it with her own money as a bit. Who's to say? Katie demonstrably has a billboard, and I think is a great transition into the show that you're the host of, because Katie's billboard voicemail changed very importantly. About eggs.
Incredible.
The joy is that I have not, like I said, I talked to Jess and Katie, so I've got some background on eggs and how that went that day. What was it like for you watching, I believe, recorded first, and Katie going for 45 minutes and restarting halfway through because she genuinely thought people weren't listening and didn't think her presentation was funny?
It is so crazy to restart a presentation, but these are the big swings. Like, I am such a rule follower in ways that when I watch other people on dropout shows, I'm like, wait, I should just be having fun like that, because it was so funny. It was crazy. It's crazy to restart that presentation when you are almost done. That is insane. Hashtag release the Katie cut, where you see the same presentation twice, because she is reading off slides, so it is the same presentation twice. It was crazy. It was so crazy, because each presentation, I don't know the exact emails that everyone got before, but I think they were told to keep it to around 10 minutes. Her presentation was already, we're talking like you're in the 40th minute. It was already long. So that to restart it really sent me into another dimension.
Yeah, it's such a huge kudos to the editors for making that into one episode that still had two other
in a 7-episode presentation.
Yes, yeah. Did you? So obviously you got brought on as host.
Mm-hmm.
I've also talked to Paul.
Good.
Some people get really mad at me in the comments because it just is me bragging about who I've talked to. And hey, sorry, but sorry, I have talked to Sam Reich. He knows my name. He can't spell it, but he knows my name.
Oh my God, you have the 2 O's. I know that.
Yeah. Does he misspell your name? I know he misspells Katie's last name. Or
yes, he leaves out the T. For my name, no, because I think with my name, you are accidentally studying it. If you don't know Indian names, you're like studying it pretty hard, and maybe like you're not going to fail the test. Whereas maybe with other names, you're like just assuming it's the conventional Katie spelling or Jordan spelling or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking too much.
And it feels like if he flipped the H and the K, he would be a racist. I know that happens. I watch it happen all the time.
I saw my dad do that once, so listen. And there's no other way to spell my name. It's not like a Catherine kind of thing. It's 5 letters. Chill out, everyone. But also, I don't really care.
So obviously you got brought on as host. I was like, did I have a question? This is also often a like real like the glue of my interviews is really rambling incoherence.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
me too.
It's the energy I bring. But yeah, at what point did you get brought on as host for Smarty Pants? How did that get pitched to you? What your role was going to be?
My role, purely host. So I try to tag Paul and Matt Pollock as much as possible because they're really the engine for the show. They had already had this idea. I didn't pitch it or anything like that. I believe it might have been Paul's brainchild, but he certainly is the showrunner at least. So I just got an email in May of last year that asked, would I be interested in hosting something like a PowerPoint presentation show? And I was like, yeah. Not much more of an interesting story behind that. Maybe there's more of an interesting story with the people that asked of like, how did you put out your asks, or how did you think of the show or whatever. But I was purely just brought on as somebody who could sit in a chair and ask questions.
Yeah, and you crush it. So
thank you so much.
Do you have a presentation this season, or are you presentationless?
I don't. I wish I did.
Yeah.
The format of the show just didn't totally allow it, it seems, because I'm sure that went through their minds, because we recorded like 10 in a day.
Yeah.
And we recorded over 3 days. And, I'm wearing the same outfit in every episode so that they can cut, everything into one episode that maybe, wasn't actually consecutive on the day and yada, yada. So I don't know where I would have had to record a lot of presentations for it to make sense in each episode that like the same cast of people is there, yada, yada, because we didn't know which ones would go together the best, how long each would be, etc. So I would love to, if that's something in the future we can do, because I think it seems really fun. And I have a lot of dumb opinions to share. So it seems like it would be great.
Yeah, I think so. I do have, I don't know if this is a pitch for you, whatever, that like the trailer for obviously season 2 of Smarty Pants, which, I mean, it's just got to be a foregone conclusion at this point, because
it should be a presentation.
Well, not even just that it should be a presentation. Oh, that is also very good. No, I was going to say that you're like in the desert pulling BDG out of retirement for one more absurd presentation, because he had got very famous on the internet doing absurd presentations of things.
Yes. That's so funny. Well, you might see more BDG on the channel. I don't know.
I mean, we definitely will.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
There might be a project with him.
Yeah. Look, I can neither confirm nor deny anything that I happen to know already, but I will say, if you went to BDG's website and looked at his about, maybe he has something up there that he shouldn't.
And that is entirely possible. And then that makes me go, wait, can I post something that I shouldn't in my bio? Okay.
No, because then you would be breaking the rules, and you wouldn't do that.
I know. I hate breaking rules. That is why I like really need to fucking change my whole personality to do Game Changer again. I don't like to impede or break rules, but everything I'm supposed to be doing in that game is breaking rules. So it doesn't occur to me to be digging around in someone's birthday cake or to be asking, I didn't even get off the couch during the circle. I didn't know I could stand up. And I see people pacing around, and I ate those snacks. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, at least at the beginning of this season, I have not seen updated stats, but I'm sure you were obviously made aware. Beginning of the season, you were coming into Game Changer, the highest winning percentage of 5 episodes or more, because Carolyn Page was at like 100% through 4 episodes.
Yes.
Did Carolyn win bingo? Does that mean she now has 100%?
Just one bingo.
Just one bingo. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you came in about. What's it feel like having that to brag about over Brennan? Okay. Mr. Competitive Lee Mulligan.
It literally feels incredible. Like, I am not good at a lot of stuff, but I get really competitive about certain things. Hopefully not in an annoying way, but like if we're playing Pictionary, I am guessing the moment your pencil hits the paper, because I'm like, let's go. I have 800 guesses. You've drawn a circle. And like, I just really love games. And so it feels really nice to have a bunch of wins, because I also really love all the episodes of Game Changer I've been on. I felt like they've been really suited for my skill set. Like, I love all the sellouts episodes. Those are so fun. Mm-hmm. Obviously I was rigged to win one of them for Whodunit. But yeah, I feel really proud of myself, because I think sometimes in the nerd space, because I am not a traditional nerd, I don't know a lot about crunchy D&D stuff. I don't know a lot about comic books, all that stuff that is sort of quote unquote typical to nerd culture. My interests are very different. So it feels nice to be rewarded in that space a little bit and be like, oh, I'm actually, there was some time where someone told me like I had the highest points for probably 3 seconds. And I was like, me? That rocks, because I've just been on like sitcom episodes, and that's like my niche. So that absolutely slaps, everyone.
Keep making those stats.
Yeah, thank you for making stats that prove to me my own self-worth.
Speaking of sellouts, can you go on record and say everyone outside of like you and Trap and other people need to stop asking Sam where he's from?
Listen, I can't ask you what you should do to Sam. There's just probably other stuff we can do to bother him. Like, I don't want to limit how you can bother him. But for instance, like some stuff I don't know about Sam that could be worth asking. Like, we could ask, like, what coast are you from? What state did you live in the most? Where
do you consider yourself an East Coaster or a West Coaster now? Like, in your heart of hearts.
I actually, I don't know if Sam considers himself a blonde or not. That's kind of interesting. I don't want to police anybody asking where Sam is from, because if it annoys him, then that's really just the goal. And we're all kind of working towards a common goal here. So it's like, we all have our action items. And as long as we're all on the same side of history, I think it's okay. But I know some people get sensitive about it and they don't like to hear that question a lot. But again, we're all fighting for the same cause. We just have to annoy Sam.
Look, I just think there are better ways to annoy Sam.
There might be better ways. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll kind of brainstorm some better ways to annoy him.
Great.
Yeah. I feel like maybe like I recently tweeted at him that he should have rules for Game Changer. And that could be something fun we ask him for, that it's kind of hard to follow because there's no rules. I don't know. Try that out.
Make critical statements about the shows that he runs. I think that would annoy him considerably more.
That's kind of nice. I think that's nice. And I think it's kind of crazy. Like, that suit's probably really smelly. Change your outfit. Right? I don't know.
And wear dress shoes. Stop wearing tennis shoes with your suit. Get it together.
Sam, we're on TV.
Yeah.
Sam, please, Sam, wear nicer shoes. It's 2024. Wear nicer shoes, sweetheart.
Also, have Rekha on more episodes of things.
What are we doing, Sam?
Have you been on Make Some Noise? Why is this
I've
not
never
a thing?
been on Make Some Noise.
It's very rude.
I
think you'd be great at it.
Thank you so much.
Do you think Sam doesn't appreciate your comedic skills? Is that what the problem is?
I've been having a feeling. So actually, maybe, you know what? I think we could use this time to kind of confront Sam. I think he should have me on more stuff. And I think we can actually kind of ask him for that. Because if he doesn't have me on more stuff, then I'm not on the stuff. And I don't know that he knows that that's kind of a 1 + 1 = 2 situation. He might not be thinking it through fully.
Yeah.
So I think we should get at Sam, get me on Make Some Noise.
VIP season 2, obviously coming soon.
It's coming soon. Yeah. Yes, you can put me on more Game Changers. And you know what? If you put me on the psychologically manipulative ones, I'm going to come in more ready. I'm going to come in. I'm going to try not to. I just can't be myself on those shows. I got to come in and be somebody else. And that's okay. I'll do that. Have me back. Have me back, Sam. I think that's kind of your goal. # your goal for 2024 and beyond. Have me on stuff, Sam.
That's the whole hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag your goal for 2024 and beyond. Have me on Sam. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yep. Get in the comments.
Get in the
comments. I don't know. There's no transition here.
Love it.
Because why would I? How was bingo for you? What was it like getting that second reveal?
So I don't remember if this was left in the episode. I said to Trap and Lily, I said, I wonder if someone's watching us. But I often don't have enough faith in my own postulations because I have been wrong so many times in my life and on dropout shows. Every single thing I choose to investigate in D20 doesn't mean anything. In the murder mystery season, nothing I looked into meant anything incredible. All of my ideas really make sense to me. And then I watch the cut and I go, oh, interesting. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Every place I chose in Beat the Buzzer, the amount of things they cut out of the PA that was assigned to me, Ryder, having to tell me, don't look in there, don't look in there. Like, just truly being like, can I hack open a wall? Is there something in there? Like, that's where my brain goes instead of, can I dip my finger into a cake? I don't know. So I would say your question, if I had to remember it, was
how was bingo?
How was bingo? Incredible.
And the second reveal. So
yes.
you had an idea.
I
and then
thought that it could be true, but then I was like, that's stupid. Yeah. I had a blast during bingo. Raph is an enigma to me, and to get him to do anything, like, I'm sure people are like, why were your prompts so crazy? I'm like, if I was like, have Raph say hello, he would be like, hi, and I'd be like, I can't. And I don't know if people know this. We were given fill in the blanks. We couldn't write our own prompts. So it would be like, name a song that blank. And so you had to work in your idea into that fill in the blank. So it was extra hard when you're like, name a song that blank. I need him to show off his necklace. So it's like, okay. Like all the prompts look like extra weird because of that. But Raph, here's what I respect about Raph. He can't be told to do anything. He's a man of upstanding principles. He's too polite to be rude to Brennan. That's my guy. So yeah, I didn't win. I didn't win that. And I'm glad. Raph is too nice to do all these mean commands. Yeah. Maybe if you get some meanies like Katie and Brennan, maybe you can win.
Katie Mirovich, famous mean.
Meanies. Maybe then you can win. But Raph, too much of a gentleman. He's not going to do it.
Yeah. I have your Rekha Go up. There's was it when you saw your card where you're like, God damn it? Because some of them obviously are like stands on Apple Box for PA. Obviously that's just a thing that they're going to get you to do, which was so wild and so funny that you just stayed up there.
Well, again, I follow rules. So yeah. I was like, I don't know why I'm so much taller than you. It has to be for this corner camera that is viewing us at an angle, and Trap must be obscuring me. Why on earth? People are like, why wouldn't you step off the Apple Box? I'm like, I have a production background. I was a film major. I would never ruin the shot. Stand off of an Apple Box, especially on a continuous take. We're not like resetting or anything. I would never take myself off of it if someone told me to be on it.
Yeah. But we have ones that are like interesting. Screams was your like center square.
Yes.
Insults Brennan's fuck you, fuck off. Flip someone off. How many when you saw them and you're like, oh, they really had my number on this one.
I wanted more, to be honest, because they had a lot of stuff they had to make the PA do. So there's a lot of stuff that organically none of us probably would have done. Like the fist bump, the PA thing. So I feel so bad for Kaylin. Awful thing to make her do. I literally was just like, oh, this PA like doesn't have training because she's interrupting shots trying to fist bump us. Like I feel really bad for her. Why is Dropout hiring people that like don't get any background on what to do on a set? Crazy. Yeah, I wanted more. I wanted more gotchas. I love if someone makes fun of me. Like I think it's fun. So I really liked looking at those, and I can do more.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about the episode is that since it was supposed to be Grant, and it's like Trap won your room at least with Brennan's card. I feel like that is what caused the haunting of Brennan at the end of that episode, where he's like, they had an hour's notice.
Yeah, of course.
I lost because I'm so predictable.
Yes. Yes, that's that whole like brand thing. It's kind of nice to be seen in that way. I don't know. I can't speak for Brennan, especially because he has a lot of things that people like are like, you always do this. So maybe it's annoying. I'm like, I love to always do something. I love consistency.
One of the ones on your card is makes puns. Let's talk about the O. Henry pun off.
Okay.
When was the last time you were at one? When are you coming back?
2015 and never. I think I'm out of the punning game. It's so funny that they still use that as a thing I do on Dropout because I just haven't done that in so long. So I am not as good as I used to be. And maybe that means absolutely nothing to the non-punning audience. But as someone who used to go to pun competitions every month in Brooklyn, I went like 25 times to the Brooklyn pun competition hosted by Joe Firestone, Punderdome 3000. Twice to the internationals. That used to be a part of my comedy life and my expression. And now it is like so not at all a part. And I am so rusty. And so when someone tells me to do it on the fly, I can do it, but not as good as I could before. So So yeah, I don't think I'll be going back, but it was fun. It's not for any negative reason. It was very fun. It's just like not my MO anymore.
Yeah, which we saw in Battle Royale. I'd love to know, Ratfish versus Battle Royale, which was more stressful?
Battle Royale. Battle Royale was among the most stressed I've ever been on a set, because one thing that was really nice about Ratfish, it wasn't like either choose to be yourself or catfish. It was everybody's catfishing. You know everybody's lying. And we didn't know up top. I don't know if it's clear in the edit. We didn't know what level of Dropout person was in the hotel with us. It's just like, someone from Dropout, people who have been on Dropout are here. So it's like, oh, that could be like an Oscar, or that could be like a Zach Oyama, or that could be a Josh Rubin. That could be anybody in that like College Humor universe. It was such a wide net, because I know some people might be like, why'd you guess like these people? It's like, we had no fucking clue who might have been there. So that was like, okay, that was tricky, but we knew whoever it was lying to us. That was like a nice baseline to start from. We're all starting from like equal cluelessness. Whereas Battle Royale, a few things. One, if you had survivor knowledge, you're coming in with all your little like tips and tricks. Two, anyone's lying to you at any moment. And that, I mean, I needed to just be like a Jacob or like a Vic, and I'm not just picking them because they were in the finals or whatever, where you are just trying to have fun and you're not trying to like actually win games on a comedy game show. That's where I get into trouble, because I'm such a rule follower. You tell me compete in these challenges. I go, okay. And you're like, make a sandwich for a chef. And I go, I'll make a good sandwich. Instead of being creative at all, it literally doesn't occur to me. Again, like I must emphasize, I never stood up in the circle, because I'm like, you put me on a couch, I'm supposed to sit on the couch. If I stand up, someone's going to scold me and tell me to sit down. So I'm like, yes, I make a sandwich for the chef and it has to be good, right? So I think if I did it again, I would know those things, but finding those things out on the fly was so stressful, where I'm like, wait, I have to relook at how I'm doing this whole game. How do I be good at a game and be funny? I really need to prioritize just being funny, because the game could not fucking matter less. And you're in such a bad headspace when you're like, I didn't participate in this part of it, but it's like, how can I actually make a sexual sculpture? Like, no, you've already lost if you're doing that. You've already lost. You must just embrace it with joy and imagination. You can't come in with like, what's a good way to impress Howie Mandel with a bunch of instruments? Because like my first thought, because that is real time. They like, Howie Mandel comes out and then they're like, okay, players.
Which is wild.
So
by
crazy.
The way. Yeah.
Howie Mandel comes out and it's like, come up with a talent now. Rekha, you go first. I have had the amount of time that you see on screen to think of a talent. And it's like, all my skills are soft skills. If you need me to, and it didn't even occur to me, like doing what Izzy did, like, let me just tell you something I know a lot about. Like, Howie, do you need me to organize your photos? I could do that very well if he needed me to do that. But it didn't occur to me. I'm like, I have to do a talent, and there's only instruments, and I don't play an instrument. So I'll have to pun. Okay, that's one thing I know how to do. Then it was like, do a second talent. I'm like, you've tapped me out of talents. I don't have any. What are you talking about? Needless to say, Battle Royale was harder.
How was the couch in Ratfish? Comfy, at least, I hope?
Comfy. Did not occur to me to lie down, to relax, to put on any of the items that were dropped off to us, like sleepover stuff. People are like using their face masks. I'm like, We were allowed to use those items? I'm like, for continuity. Bad.
Yep. Yeah, how are we going to cut in a shot of Zach if he's wearing a face mask for 3/4 of it?
Like, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I thinking that? Why am I trying to have the most unfun time and just be like, well, it cuts together. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, I've made the editor's job easy.
Yeah.
I'll be their favorite.
Don't ever use this footage. It's not funny.
Yeah. At the holiday party next year, they'll come up and tell me I'm their favorite.
I'm the easiest to edit.
A thing editors are definitely keeping track of.
Oh my God. What an absolutely horrifying descriptor for yourself. A joy to edit. super consistent, not funny at all.
Stays very still.
Incredibly still, moment to moment.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm really excited, obviously, to see the rest of Ratfish. It was so exciting. It was exciting to see Eric Wareheim on there. It was also exciting to see so much of the young dropout crowd be like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, kids, guess what?"
Shocked because I never know what age range we're appealing to or what type of comedy fan. Because it's such a wide net. Sometimes it seems like there's people in their 50s. Sometimes it seems like it's like teens or whatever. So I was so shocked by how many people were like, and then the reveal is some guy. I'm like, if you are an alt comedy fan, you gotta watch Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
You got to. If you're a Tim Robinson fan, like all that stuff is in the same world. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Yes. Yeah. Also, it's very funny. Like, I'm super curious what came first, Ratfish, and then got Eric, or if Eric was there and then they're like, "Oh, we'll call it Ratfish," because so much of Tim and Eric is about rats. Like, it's like anyway.
I actually don't know the answer to that. That's a great. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven. Yes. Regardless. Yeah. Well. We should talk about me checking the time to make sure that we aren't like wildly running over.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you've just been announced as the first guest episode star of Bitcherton.
Yes.
Knock on wood, assuming it gets funded.
Yes.
Yeah. The Katie interview. So like I'm talking to all the cast of Bitcherton in the lead during the like little Kickstarter, and that was one of the reasons why the Katie interview happened. Anyway, it super doesn't matter. But I've listened to the first episode. Super fun. Yeah. Are you excited to hop into improv Regency era nonsense?
Excited. I don't know that I have a hard time doing genre stuff, so I like the challenge of it. And like everyone there is so funny. And I think being a guest star definitely takes the pressure off to make some sort of long sort of Pride and Prejudice-esque arc for a character. So I'm very excited. And I mean, I love doing improv in any form. So.
And the plus side, you don't have to worry about doing an accent because Katie just straight up isn't doing one.
Incredible.
Which is truly the funniest possible decision. Yes. She's not the only one, but like it's so apparent when she's like, "I'm from Bath," and I'm like, "Bath, England?" And then but yes,
I'm from Bath. Yeah.
But I guess, like, speaking of Katie, here's a nice greasy transition. Mice and Murder. Oh my goodness. Genre, Katie Maravich, Rekha Shankar.
Let's go.
Mice and Murder.
Yes.
Such an incredible season.
Yes.
And a season that I'm so appreciative of because it utilized not being in the dome in a way that the season would not have worked in the dome.
Yeah.
Like you would have needed like screens in front of you that like had like blinders around them so only you could see message. Like it wouldn't have worked. Like the text message incorporation was so good.
Oh my God. I'm so happy. Like, because we weren't told to do that. I might be wrong. Other people might have been texting too, but I just was starting to text Sam. And then only after the fact, they were like, can everybody send all their text logs? Because we think that's like a cool part of this. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, that rules. So I had so much fun on that season. Murder Mystery was so hard. And playing a character that is supposed to be good at a thing that I personally am not good at was so hard. But very fun.
Yeah, I often like I play a lot of D&D type stuff, and like when I have to play like high intelligence characters, I'm like, okay, but can I find out? Does my character know what the puzzle is? I don't, as a human being.
Yes.
My character's so much smarter than me.
It's too hard. After that experience, I was like, I can never play. Not that I can't play a high status person again, but I can't play someone that's like leading the charge because it's too much for me. I do much better when I can absorb and react rather than like lead something. So that was a really wonderful lesson.
But I mean, you were back leading a charge, at least in terms of horses,
Thank you.
with another iconic role. All of them have been iconic. Look, we'll get to Maggie in a second, but Katja Cleaver, my goodness,
she's my favorite.
The Seven. Well, I'm so upset that there hasn't been a sequel to The Seven. Yeah. It's so good. How dare Brennan?
I know.
What is he
I
busy
know.
doing? Like a giant podcast and a million seasons of Dimension 20 and having a kid. Come on, Brennan. Get us a sequel to The Seven.
Come on. I loved The Seven. It was as fun as it might appear to have been. It was just, that was my favorite character I've played on Dimension 20 by far. I felt like something just locked in the like high school of it all, where it felt very fun and free. And I think really I understood all those experiences intimately and like how these characters would relate to each other. So it was just so fun.
Yeah. Are you a horse girl? Is that you get to bring in your own sensibilities?
Despite the shirt I'm wearing, which I feel like makes it look like I'm like a cowboy, I don't know anything about horses, which is probably not a shock to anyone who likes horses and saw Katja Cleaver. I think they're very interesting, and I like all animals basically. But I've only ridden a horse twice. I actually maybe slightly think we should not ride horses and we should let them be. And because they're like wild animals, and we I don't know, we don't need to be on top of them. But yeah, so I am not a horse girl. I knew people who were horse or dolphin girls growing up. But I am not one.
Yeah. So you're somewhere between like Katja and Becca, let's chop up the horse for meat, like levels.
Yeah,
of like...
which I would argue maybe everyone's between those two. Psycho ranges.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, obviously no Dimension 20 recap would be complete without Maggie. At what point did you know Maggie was going to be pregnant? Was that a before season, or is that improv live on set?
That was before season. So that was my first time playing D&D. Brennan had told us at some point during character creation if there were things we wanted him to know that we didn't want other characters to know, to make that known. When he said Lord of the Rings season, I got scared because I've seen all of Lord of the Rings once and never again, and I don't want to see them again. And I did love them at the time, and that's what's complex and interesting about me. I thought they were incredible. I have no desire to watch them again.
I cannot relate.
That's so funny. I like, even Pippin's song was like my AIM profile for the longest time, and I made collages of all the hobbits. Never wanted to see it again.
I was trying to see how much Lord of the Rings stuff is visible directly behind me. And I think only... Nope, there's two things. Funny. That is Gandalf smoking a pipe over the top of Hobbit music.
I see that.
And then underneath that is a list of the Hobbit meals.
Incredible. Yeah. I think it's a wonderful story. It's just like not something I ever want to revisit for whatever reason. So when he said Lord of the Rings, I was like, uh-oh. And so I always just go like, what do I know? I'm like, I know like family and friends dynamics. I just have to attach myself in a dynamic that's familiar to me when this world is not familiar to me. So I was like, I will be like, whatever, like the girlfriend of the big evil guy. And in doing that, it's like, well, something that could add interest to my character, especially given that she is not with her partner. Like I was like, I'll make her pregnant. So like, that is all I told Brennan. I said, she's carrying his baby. Amy Vorpal sniffed it out of me in 2 seconds. Unbelievable. It was crazy. And I truly, you can see on my face, I had no idea if I was allowed to say this thing that was supposed to be a secret. And like, I was like, I'm pregnant. So it totally was pre-planned, but did not plan to release it that early.
Amy, so good that season.
A genius.
And, like, getting, I mean, like Matt Mercer, adoptive dad, such a like fantastic. That season, I mean, as a gigantic Lord of the Rings nerd, really, really like hit for me in so ways glad. That I was not prepared for.
I love that. Good.
Yeah. Let's stay on Amy for a second.
Yes.
Breaking news. I don't think you were there for the face, but you were there the next time she was on.
We had to make it,
because
right?
I just watched you where you were like, do the face.
So funny. I mean, Amy is so great. You always want people like this in your stable of performers, just like joyful and so clearly happy to be there that it just reads all over her face. There's a lot of like, not really in the Dropout universe, but in comedy, you get people that are ironically detached, that are like, it's lame to care. It's lame to be like enthusiastic. I'm like, no, it's not. Amy is so joyful to watch. And like, there's a reason she keeps coming back, not just in D&D settings, but in breaking news, in everything. She's just so fun.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I don't have an actual transition.
Let's go.
Iffy was there with you,
yes!
So we can get to Never Stop Blowing Up. The return. How much are we going to love this season?
I hope you love it a lot. It was so fun, and so I mean, like, I don't think it's a secret that this is like an Oops All Goofballs season, where everyone there is a nut. and you know, I am so honored to be amongst, you know, an Allie Beardsley in terms of chaos and goofiness at that table, because I've just told you I think I sometimes have a hard time with rules where I want to obey them, but D&D is this funny thing where, because I am so not steeped in the world of like 5e, but I am steeped in the world of improv, where I get to have my rules that I know work for improv, but the D&D rules, like, I don't know what I'm breaking or what I'm not breaking. So when I ask a question, I genuinely don't know. And if Brennan lets me do it, I'm like, oh, I accidentally made kind of a cool choice. That's cool. And that's just because I don't know what's right, what's up and down in D&D. So I'm really excited for that season. It's Kids on Bikes, which was really fun for me.
I was say, like, not even, you don't even have to deal with 5e rules. You have the much looser, like, narrative-based D6 system.
I literally promise you guys, I am smart. I promise you. But when you come into D&D and for the first time you're playing a level 14 character, imagine you have never played before. You arrive. You try to choose the easiest type of character to be, a barbarian. And then it's like, well, how do you, what path are you choosing? You're like, what? And how do you want to rage? You'll have to take a short rest. What are you talking about? I literally have no idea what you are talking about. Entering at level 14, it was like jumping into a college level course after graduating elementary school. So I know how to read, and then you're like, great, so you can do calculus. And I'm like, actually, no. So I have been just trying to play catch up since then, because I'm only playing level like 1 million characters that have like 85,000 things they can do, and I don't understand any of them. So doing Kids on Bikes, I promise you, I have brain. I have brain. It was just nice to not worry about that other stuff that I can get really in my head about, not knowing, like, why am I at this table if I don't know these crunchy rules? Like, it was just nice to kind of put that aside and be like, we're rolling dice till we explode. Nice.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It looks like so much fun. I have the strong prediction that it's going into Emmy contention next year, because obviously, like, it's long enough, which was the problem this year. Dungeons and Drag Queens wasn't long enough. But I think one, not being D&D is incredibly beneficial, because it's not like, for a voting members that don't know the system, being like, you just roll some dice, and like,
it's just numbers. You don't need to know anything outside of that. Yeah.
And then on top of that, the conceit of it's Jumanji but 90s 80s action movies VHS, like, it's real easy to explain the plot and system and be like, and go, like,
exactly.
Here's the thing.
Because I think also something that's funny about those movies is, like, the plot, you can explain the plot in a really simple way, but then if you explain everything that happens, it's actually, like, purposely very silly and extreme. Like, action movies are extreme. Like, if you really logic it, someone doesn't need to hitch themselves to a helicopter to get to the next location, but that's just what happens in action movies, you know? And so the illogical things are actually funny and add to the genre and the comedy of it all.
Yes. Can you walk me through character creation for
Yes.
Usha Rao
Yes.
slash G13.
Yeah.
One of the things I adore is the like blockbuster style cards with your favorite movies on them. I'm hoping you chose your favorite movies.
Yes, we did.
Good.
They gave us pitches in case we didn't want to come up with them. Okay, let's go to your question, Jordan. We're all feeling normal. So, character creation for Usha Rao. When we know it was an action movie. Action movies are very fun for me, but I would not say that they are my genre. You might be wondering, Rekha, you keep saying everything is not your genre. Correct. My genre is like sad Asian women stories. So
we'll get to Desi Quest in a second.
Thank
but okay.
you. So, so when he said action movie, first we started at just like who would work in like a blockbuster type thing. And I was like, well, I really love playing kind of low status individuals or people that like kind of have they don't all have all the reason to be there. There's like kind of a funny reason that they are there. So I was like, I think I said, is it okay? And I thought other people would take this. So I was like, can I play the oldest woman in the world? And Izzy said, of course that's who you want to play. And Brennan was like, yep, you could be the oldest woman in the world. So I said, awesome. Because that immediately, I already know who that is. And when we had to come up with like our Jumanji style characters, I just thought, not a real brilliant answer here. I was like, what's the opposite of that? And I was like, oh, a super like tech savvy young hacker. That's kind of a fun dichotomy there that could be fun to switch in and out of. And I think there's kind of a cool story there too, potentially, of like, if you are someone that is like not in touch with technology, not interested in it, and you find yourself in the body of someone who is much savvier about it, do you like that? Do you hate it? Do you eschew it? Do you embrace it? I think that's kind of interesting. So that felt like it would be immediately fun to play. So that's how that character creation happened.
Amazing. Yeah. How were the explosions in the dome? Just like everything you hoped they would be and more?
I had never firstly been in the dome where they had the screens as the backdrop. So that was incredible. That was so cool. The lighting and the props and Rick and his whole team, next level, obviously. But the joy of exploding was unbelievable, because unlike a nat 20, which is rare and it feels rare, and it's obviously super exciting when you get one, it feels really rare to explode and then explode again and then explode again. But it was happening, and you're like, how the fuck is this happening? How are we rolling the highest number on all these die 3 times in a row or something? But it would happen, and it's just like, it felt so cool, and it was so justified by the genre. I mean, Brennan did a great job marrying those things together. Just like, of course, an action movie has these moments where like your character is at the lowest of lows, at the lowest of this particular skill, and then blows up, and it's like, huh? Okay, she's getting back up. She's crawling, and she blows up again. She's crawling. She blows up again, and she punches the guy. It was like perfect. So it felt awesome.
Yeah. It looks so good. One of the things that I really loved about the trailer was that people took the frame where Brennan is wearing reflective glasses and tried to figure out who the like 1-inch tall pixels were across the table from him, and did shockingly well at it. Like, I was stunned that they got any names right.
I was shocked, because like I look at it and I'm like, oh, I know who's that. But it's because I know who that is supposed to match, and I know where they were sitting. But I'm like, if you're in a hotel and it could be any Dropout cast member, and you see a smudge of black hair, I'm like, I don't know. Lily? Like, I don't know. So kudos to you, Sylvan Sleuths, on that detective work.
Yeah, I knew Iffy and Izzy were in it going in, and had been holding that secret.
Nice.
So when someone figured out it was Iffy, and then I saw someone who's in my Discord commented, those are Iffy's shoulders, and I was like, well, you're not wrong, and he's gonna love that.
We can't keep doing this. Iffy is muscular and knows it. We can't keep promoting it. He's too muscular. He's gonna explode.
No. He gives such good hugs.
Yeah, he does. Oh my God. If you're looking to be crushed to death, look no further than If You Anyway.
That's right. Well, this isn't a transition, but Desi Quest. How exciting was it to get to be a part of it? Were you surprised at how very like popular it like became and still is? Are you coming to Gen Con with it? What's happening?
Yeah, so Desi Quest was so freaking fun. Again, it's like the mythical, fantastical world of gods and goddesses and stuff. Not my genre. Again, my genre is sad Asian women. So when they said, you can just play whoever you want in that world, I said, what if I play a disgruntled old Asian lady? Okay, let's do auntie. That rules. I know old Indian women like the back of my hand. I know this type of woman who's like, I mean, there are literally like in Jersey, just like older ladies that cook, you know, desserts and stuff out of their kitchen, and you'll pick it up from them and like never see their face. Their husband's the person they're interfacing with, and they're just in the kitchen all day and you don't even know their name. And it's like, well, that's Laddu Mommy. And you're like, okay, who is she? I didn't see her. And she made all this awesome stuff. She's just in your phone. Is that? It's like, yes, that's like calling someone like dessert lady. And that's how they're in your phone. So that was super fun to play, and super fun to play all the South Asian specifics I've never gotten to play. I mean, Kachik Cleaver was the first time I ever got to be like, oh, my character's Indian. I didn't know you were allowed to do that. And so that was fun. Playing in kind of a different, there were like different mechanics in Desi Quest than I had ever seen, with like, we had a boon, like hourglass thing, and like the little punch cards, and we had guests, which was really cool. It was so fun, and I was surprised at how popular it was, because D&D still sometimes freaks me out as a world, because it doesn't, the part of it I've been exposed to has been really welcoming, but the parts I also know that exists and that I thought were the only parts were not welcoming.
Yeah, specifically, but like welcoming to me specifically, not to you,
yes,
though. Like,
totally. And so I was surprised that this was welcomed in, and I think having people like Anjali Vimani, obviously Jasmine, Sandeep, Omar, I'm like, I couldn't ask for better people to usher that in with, because they have such strong stakes in the ground in the TTRPG world. So that was very helpful and awesome. But I was so happy at all the people that came to our panel at PAX, and like at Gen Con, the people that had been watching last year was so nice to see. I would love to go to Gen Con again. I don't know if that's in the cards, but would love to.
Desi Quest is going to be there, so you should start calling people.
I should start calling people. I didn't know if it was official or not, so that's good to know.
Yeah, officially selling tickets for it. If you want to come join my panel about how Dropout is changing the world of comedy on Sunday morning, you can be on it if you want.
Oh my God, who's coming?
You know, the obscure Lord of the Rings guy, Don Marshall from TikTok. No, weird that's not your genre. Some folks that mostly fans.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Wow, if I'm there, that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I would name the other people, but I don't think you probably know them.
Oh my
They're
God.
TikTokers mostly.
See, that's another thing. I've come up at such a bizarre time where, like, I was putting out YouTube sketches before I got the job at College Humor, which then was just a larger way to put out YouTube sketches. And then in the meantime, and during pandemic, TikTok debuted, or became popular, not debuted, it's been around. And during the pandemic, we weren't all doing new things, were we? So I didn't try to pick up TikTok, and then it's become such a thing, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I've missed my window or something. I don't know how to like get privy to TikTok. It's just like not my thing.
I mean, that's all right. You don't have to. You're star now. You're in you're in the hit HBO Max show Hacks.
Yeah, exactly.
One episode. Your character needs to come back.
Yeah, come on.
It's always one of those things. It's very funny because I do it like privately when I see like a Dropout member. I'm like, Rekha, like that moment of excitement of seeing someone there, and then unlike the dropout Discord, every like 3 days, someone is like, "Did you know Jacob Wysocki's in Pitch Perfect?"
Yes,
like, yes, we do.
That's so
Everyone
funny.
posts it every time they see it.
It is funny to see people watching things at different times because, and obviously the Discord is a place where you can talk about that kind of stuff. But it'll be like someone be like, "OMG, Maggie was pregnant." And you're like, huh? Oh my god, that was like 1,000 years ago. Yeah, you can pick up any of these shows and start watching at any time.
Yeah. Well, look, you would be a joy to have on
God, that's so nice.
On TikTok.
That's so nice.
Everyone would love it. Katie's there doing silly stuff.
Katie is very funny on TikTok. I look at her stuff, and maybe this is a wrong attitude to take. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Instead of being inspired, I'm like, yeah, that she's like savvy at this, and like she's following trends clearly. Of like, I just watched her.
I don't think she is.
She's subverting like tropes that are on TikTok. Like,
yes.
They're like, this is how much she means to me. Like the girl at graduation looking for her mom or whatever, and then it's
and
like,
then her just waving for 17
minutes,
straight seconds. Yeah, like,
it's so funny.
Good. Yeah,
so funny.
Well, obviously people can't find you on TikTok, but where can they find you? And you have anything else you want to plug that people should go check out?
Yeah. Do you know when this is coming out?
I don't know.
Okay, perfect. So check out my website, rekhashankar.com. I have lots of sketches up there. I have dates I'm doing shows if you live in LA. Also check out Never Stop Blowing Up, which premieres on June 26th on Dropout TV. And what else? Oh, I will likely have released a new sketch on my own by the time this comes out. So check that out as well. My TikTok is for clipping out sketches. So you can see sketches I've already done there. Or you can follow my YouTube at Rekha L. Shankar and find sketches there too.
Amazing. Yeah. This will probably go on my Patreon tomorrow.
Awesome.
And then I'll put some clips up on my TikTok and Instagram. And then I hold it for 2 months and then put it up on YouTube so that
so people have to
so that because look, it's not a lot of work, but it is some work that I would like to get compensated for.
Editing audio, I used to be a video editor. Editing audio is terrible because you can't even just scrub through it. Like if you had to make a quick cut in a video and be like, that's where he coughed or whatever. You have to either look at the waveforms or just listen. It's horrible. Yeah. So you should be compensated.
I appreciate it. You're giving me a lot more credit than what I'm actually going to do, which is almost no editing, which is what the people expect from me. Amazing. Rekha, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan, for having me. Appreciate it and all the work you do.
I appreciate you and all the incredible joy you bring into my life. So nice. Excited for the Ratfish finale. So excited for Never Stop Blowing Up. Obviously, you're going to have to come back after one of those things, and we'll talk about the whole season.
We have to.
We simply must.
We must.
All right. And I don't know how to end a recording, so I'm just going to hit stop recording. Woo!